Well, that file shows the latitude and longitude of this place.
The early 2000s were the wild west of gaming. We didn't have ray tracing or 4K textures, but we had something much more important: identity. The PlayStation 2 wasn't just a console. It was an era where developers took risks, creating experimental masterpieces that still hold up today. While we are living in the golden age of remakes, some of the most legendary stories ever told are still trapped on a 20-plus-year-old disc. Today we are counting down 9 PS2 icons that aren't just nostalgic, they are mechanically superior to many modern titles and desperately need a ground-up remake. Let's get into it. Number 9. Burnout 3 Takedown. Let's kick things off with pure, high-octane adrenaline. Back in the day, racing games were divided into two camps: realistic simulators or cartoony arcade racers. Then came Burnout 3 Takedown and it shattered the mold. This wasn't just about crossing the finish line, it was about the spectacle of destruction. The takedown mechanic was a stroke of genius. It turned aggression into a resource. Every time you slammed an opponent into a pillar or nudged them off cliff, you were rewarded with a burnout boost. It turned every race into a high-speed gladiatorial battle. And we can't talk about Burnout 3 without mentioning Crash Mode. A brilliant puzzle-style mode where the goal was to cause the most expensive multi-car pile possible. Modern racing feels safe and sterilized. We have 4K cars, but we'd lost the thrill of the near miss and the visceral impact of a 200 mph crash. Imagine a remake with a modern physics engine, procedural damage where every piece of glass and twisted metal is rendered in real time. A remake of Takedown wouldn't just be a racer, it would be the ultimate stress relief experience that the modern game era desperately needs.
I hacked into the police security mainframe and discovered this vault's combo. Try dialing in 937.
Number 8. Sly Cooper and the Thieves Raccoonus. The PS2 was the golden era of mascot platformers, but while everyone was focused on Jak Ratchet, Sly Cooper brought something much more sophisticated to the table: the heist. This wasn't just about jumping on platforms, it was about the art of stealth. The game made you feel like a phantom. You were shimmying along narrow ledges, pickpocketing guards, and using an array of gadgets to infiltrate high-security fortresses. It combined classic platforming with stealth-like mechanics that were incredibly fluid for 2002.
Booming chop!
What really set it apart was its noir comic book aesthetic. The cel-shaded look was gorgeous, but imagine those visuals today with Spider-Verse style animation, real-time lighting, and more complex thieving mechanics. A remake wouldn't just be a nostalgia trip, it would revive a genre, the stealth platformer that has practically disappeared from the modern gaming landscape. We need the Cooper gang back to show us how a real heist is done. Number 7. Haunting Ground. While the early 2000s were flooded with action horror, Capcom took a massive risk with Haunting Ground. This wasn't about blasting monsters with a shotgun. It was a masterclass in vulnerability and psychological tension. You play as Fiona, a girl trapped in a terrifying castle with no way to fight back. Expect of her only ally, a white German shepherd named Huey. What makes this game a masterpiece is the relationship system. Huey isn't just a static companion, he has his own AI personality.
Come on.
If you treat him well, he'll protect you from the castle's twisted inhabitants. If you mistreat him, he might ignore your commands when your life is on the line. Couple that with the panic system, where Fiona's vision blurs and the controls become unresponsive as her fear peaks, and you have a game that literally makes you feel the protagonist's terror. In a modern gaming world where stalker horror titles like Amnesia or the Resident Evil remakes with Mr. X and Lady Dimitrescu are massive hits, Haunting Ground is the blueprint that started it all. A remake in the RE engine would be breathtaking. Imagine the gothic architecture of Belly Castle with modern ray tracing and even more advanced AI. For Huey, it's a haunting, beautiful experience that deserves to be played by a new generation of horror fans.
Through the warp gate and get some practice on Geyser Rock.
We won't find any more of that dog gooey eco stuff, will we? Cause I'd hate to fall in again and turn into you.
Get in there!
Number 6. Jak and Daxter, the precursor legacy. Long before Naughty Dog gave us the gritty realism of The Last of Us or the cinematic chases of Uncharted, they created a vibrant, colorful world that changed gaming forever. Jak and Daxter wasn't just another mascot platformer. It was a technical marvel that achieved the impossible in 2001, a truly seamless open world. What made this game feel like magic was a total absence of loading screens. You could run from the sandy beaches of Sandover Village all the way to the volcanic craters without ever seeing a please wait bar or a loading screen bar. The movement was incredibly fluid. Jak's double jump, spin, and roll felt like an extension of your own hands. Then there's the ecosystem, where absorbing different energies gave you temporary powers like speed, strength, or long-range blasts, keeping the gameplay loop constantly fresh. Modern open world games have become bloated with map markers and microtransactions. We lost the sense of pure, compact adventure where every inch of the map was handcrafted and full of personality. A remake wouldn't just be about 4K textures. It would be about bringing back the pure sense of wonder. With the power of modern SSDs, a reimagined precursor world could be even more vertical, lush, and alive. It's time for the modern era to see where the open world revolution actually began.
Same girl who's supposed to change me back?
I've got to contact Leon and tell him to let my brother know he's being monitored. It's a good thing I have access to an outside connection from here.
Number 5. Resident Evil Code Veronica. Let's address the elephant in the room. Capcom has been on an absolute tear with their remakes, but somehow they skipped the most pivotal chapter in Claire's Redfield's story. Code Veronica isn't just a spin-off for many hardcore fans. This is a true sequel to Resident Evil 2. It's a game that reunited the Redfield siblings.
Chris! I missed you so much.
And brought back one of the series' most iconic villains in a way no one expected. This was the first Resident Evil to move away from pre-rendered backgrounds into a fully 3D environment, allowing for dynamic camera movements that made the horror feel more cinematic. It introduced dual-wielding weapons and featured some of the most twisted boss design in the franchise, like the tragic and creepy Ashford twins. The game was famous for its brutality, difficulty, and complex puzzles, making survival feel like a genuine achievement. The reason fans are begging for this remake is simple: the lore.
What are you doing here?
Code Veronica explains how Albert Wesker returned and set the stage for everything that happened in Resident Evil 5. Leaving this game in the past creates a massive hole in the modern RE timeline. Imagine Rockford Island and the Antarctic base reimagined in the RE engine, the gothic atmosphere, the lightning, and the updated character models for Claire and Chris. It's time for Capcom to stop skipping this masterpiece and give Claire the modern comeback she deserves.
Steve, behind you!
Up disrespecting staff? Oh, I'm scared of you, Hopkins.
Come on, give me a break.
Yes, I've never met a boy like you. Never in all my life.
Number 4. Bully. When you think of Rockstar games, you think of GTA or Red Dead. But back on the PS2, they released a masterpiece that was much more grounded, yet equally controversial. Bully set in the fictional Bullworth Academy.
You? Welcome to Bullworth Academy. I'm sure you'll be very happy here. Very happy indeed.
This wasn't about being a criminal. It was about surviving the most brutal environment known to man, high school. What made Bully so special was its incredible social simulation system. You had a daily schedule to follow, attending chemistry or gym class to unlock new abilities, all while navigating a complex hierarchy of jocks, nerds, preppies, and greasers. The interaction system was revolutionary. You could choose to greet, insult, or prank almost any NPC, and they would remember you. It turned a school campus into a living, breathing social ecosystem where every choice had a consequences. Modern open world games are obsessed with bigger is better, often giving us massive, empty worlds. Bully proved that density and personality are much more important. Every building of Bullworth felt iconic, and every character felt like someone you actually knew in school. A remake today wouldn't just be a nostalgic trip, it would be the perfect satire of modern social dynamics. With Rockstar's current level of detail, a reimagined Bullworth Academy, complete the updated humor and refined combat system, would be an absolute blockbuster.
Trade it!
Where am I?
Number 3. Silent Hill 3. While the Silent Hill 2 remake proved that there is a massive global hunger for psychological horror, many fans argue that the third entry is actually the scariest. Silent Hill 3 doesn't rely on cheap jump scares. It wrought your nerves with a sense of dread that is almost suffocating. You stepped into the shoes of Heather Mason, arguably the most relatable and human protagonist in the series, as her world literally melts into an industrial nightmare. What made this game a technical marvel was its otherworld transitions. Seeing the walls of a shopping mall or a subway station pulse, bleed, and decay in a real time was haunting. The game used a layered sound design where footsteps, distant metallic screeching, and white noise were blended to keep you in a state of constant panic. Unlike other horror games of the time, the puzzles were deeply symbolic, reflecting Heather's inner fear and the dark history of the cult. With modern hardware, the otherworld could be a visual masterpiece. Imagine 4K texture of rust and blood moving dynamically around you, with ray-traced shadows and 3D audio that makes every creak in the floorboard feel like it's right behind you. Heather's story in a raw, emotional journey that feels incredibly modern. A remake wouldn't just be about better graphics. It would be about reclaiming the throne of psychological horror and showing the world that Silent Hill is still the king of the genre.
Tanker Holmes, report your status.
Control room, communications and engine room are under control. All entry and exit points to the tanker hold secured. Infrared sensors placed and operational.
Good work.
Number 2. Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. When Hideo Kojima released Metal Gear Solid 2 in 2001, he didn't just release a game, he released a prophecy. This was a title that proved video games could be more than just toys. They could be high-concept political thrillers. Even today, over 20 years later, the industry is still trying to catch up to the sheer detail and ambition packed into the tanker and big shell incidents. The attention to detail here was obsessive. You could shoot Ice Cube and watch them melt in real time. Or hide in lockers to avoid patrols. But the real star was the advanced AI. For the first time, guard worked in tactical squads, clearing rooms, checking corners, and communicating via radio. If you destroyed their communication equipment, they were paralyzed.
Are you going to shoot me?
The gameplay offered a level of tactical freedom that made every player's experience feel unique. Whether you were a ghost in the shadows or an aggressive soldier, the themes of Metal Gear Solid 2, digital misinformation, AI control, and how we pass on our legacy are more relevant in 2026. A remake in the Fox engine or a modern equivalent would be mind-blowing. Seeing Raiden's acrobatic combat and Snake's legendary presence with modern cinematic fidelity would be a dream come true. This game isn't just a classic, it's a manual for our modern digital world, and it deserves to be experienced with the full power of modern hardware.
You alright? Give me a few minutes.
And finally we reach the throne. If there is one game that dominates every most wanted poll in the West, it's this one.
Gale, you're still alive. Good timing.
What is it? Another lizard?
That's no lizard. It's a dinosaur.
Dinosaur?
Number 1. Dino Crisis. Now I know this legend started its journey on the PS1, but it was the PS2's backward compatibility that kept this nightmare alive for a whole new generation. For years, fans have been shouting from the rooftops, "We don't want another zombie shooter, we want Regina back." While the world was obsessed with Resident Evil, Shinji Mikami created something arguably most terrifying, a game that traded slow-moving corpses for the fastest, more intelligent apex predators to ever walk the earth. Mikami-san specifically coined the term panic horror for Dino Crisis, and for good reason. Unlike zombies, velociraptors in this game were relentless. They were fast, they could track your scent, and most importantly, they could follow you through doors. That one mechanic shattered the safe room security we were used to in horror games. You were never truly safe. Combine that with complex laser grid puzzles and the resource management system that made every tranquilizer dart feel like a bar of gold, and you had a survival experience that was as stressful stressful as it was rewarding. The reason Dino Crisis is our number one is simple. There is nothing else like it. We are currently in prehistoric gaming drought, and a ground-up remake in the RE engine would literally break the internet. Imagine the sheer terror of a T-Rex crashing through a window in 4K, or hearing the clicking of raptor's claws on a metal floor. With 3D spatial audio, Capcom has perfected the art of the remake, and this time they reclaimed this forgotten crown. Dino Crisis isn't just a game we want, it's the game that industry needs to remind us what it feels like to be prey again. So yeah, that's our list of 9 PS2 legends that deserves a second life. This game didn't just define our childhoods, they defined what it means to take risk in game design. But I want to hear from you. Did your favorite make the cut, or is there another hidden gem I missed? Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the lore of gaming history. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care, bye bye.